What's up, family? Welcome to my channel. I am Craig. This is Family First Sports, and we are here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I want to get into the show. We're going to talk about Demarvin Overshown, some things I want to get off my chest about him. Micah Parsons. A lot of people may giving him a lot of flack about what happened in that game against the Bengals. I want to address some of that. Mike McCarthy. I have some stuff I want to talk about with Mike McCarthy, and it's not going to be the things that you think. But we'll get into that in a second. And how to fix the Cowboys. This is one of the hardest questions this season that we can think of, but I have an idea of what we can do realistically to fix the Cowboys, but I really would like to hear what you think. If you were the GM of the Cowboys, what would you do? So we're going to get into that in a minute. Let's get into the show. Let me say this, man. Rarely do you have people that come in the game and has such an impact that this guy has had. His first season, he didn't even get on the field as much, right? He got hurt early. This year, you saw the potential of this guy really being something special. And what hurts me the most is, you need dogs on your team. This dude was a dog. And I've been crying for the past 3-4 years. We need more dogs on the Cowboys. We need more dogs. This was a dog. Now, we've lost him not only for this year, but they said he could possibly miss 2025 season as well. That's bad, man. That's sad. I feel for this brother, man. I'm praying for him and his family. I really feel bad for this guy, man, because the game means something to him. You have people sometimes, you have players that you root for, but when you see the passion, how hard he worked to get back on the field from last year, and then he explodes and have a fantastic, this dude made an impact almost on every play. He showed up on tape. He shows up. And to have this happen to him again, and it's worse than the first time, it's devastating. It's devastating for not only him, for Cowboy fans, for the whole football world, because you won't see this guy become who I think he would have been. I believe he had Hall of Fame talent starting. I don't know what would he have become, but I believe he had that kind of potential because he was amazing on that field. He was fast. He was a hitter. He could read. He was smart. And he showed up and he made plays. And we won't be able to see that for the next couple of years. So let's hope and pray Demarvin Overshown comes back in 2026 healthy, and he'll be the story of the decade if he can come back and regain some of the things he had going in this season. All right, let's get to the next topic. Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is an amazing player. He has been getting a lot of flack for what happened at the end of this game against the Bengals. The Cowboys lost 27-20, and they lost in Leon Lett fashion, where a guy touched the ball, he blocked the kick, he touched the ball, and the Cincinnati Bengals got the ball back. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if I'm talking to just Cowboy fans. I ain't even talking to Cowboy fans. I'm talking about fans in general. If you're rooting for a team and you're about to get the ball and this guy does this boneheaded play, you'll be pissed. Micah Parsons did the same thing any fan would have done. I was pissed when it happened. He was pissed when it happened. He's playing the game. He's the one out there grinding and fighting every play. And here it is, we almost had the game in our hands, and this guy makes this boneheaded play. So I understand why he's pissed. Now, do I agree with him walking off the field before the game's over? No, I don't. I don't agree with that. But I agree with him and how he felt and his passion. He was pissed, man. He wears heart on his sleeve. That's Micah Parsons. I'm learning him. The more I, listen and the more I watch him, I'm learning Micah Parsons. He's young. That podcast, I don't agree with that in the middle of the season, but he's young, and I know he wears his heart on his sleeve. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. He was upset. He shouldn't have left the field. But I'm going to say this. I'd rather Micah Parson leave the field than stay on the field when it's a blowout against your team and you exchanging jerseys, talking about the podcast after the game and smiling. I'd rather you leave the field pissed off like that. Because that's how I would have felt. So you guys giving him all this flack about him leaving the field. Look, you can't have it both ways. You can't. Now, again, I wouldn't have left the field, but that's just his passion. He was upset. Not only about the game, his partner just got his knee messed up, man. He knew how hard this guy worked to get back to where he was. And he knows Overshown was a dog. He got another dog next to him, and now he don't. So I think that has something to do with it as well. Let's get to the next topic. Mike McCarthy. Let me say this, guys. Rico Dowdle had an amazing game, and he should have been on this podcast. I should have put him up here too. But let me say this about Mike McCarthy. You had a guy who was running the ball at a 7.3 clip, and you go away from that, bro? See, it's what you don't do that make you lose your job. We know it's time. It was time last year for Mike McCarthy to go. But Jerry wants to still keep him around. Let me say this. Mike McCarthy has been our coach for the past 4 years. Last 3 years, he went 12-5. So he can coach. But what he can't do is he can't stop the penalties. The Cowboys, in the 4 years that Mike McCarthy has been our head coach, we are third in the league in penalties. Third in the league. But that's even not the worst part, right? The worst part is game management with this guy. We have struggled with game management with Mike McCarthy since he's been here. And now that he's calling plays, Rico Dowdle was running for 139 yards at a 7.3 clip. You go away from that, bro? When is it time for him to go? Last year, it was time for him to go. But when is it time? See, Jerry wants to keep him. Now, only reason I'm giving Mike McCarthy a small, I'm talking about, I don't know if you can see between those fingers there, a small pass is because of Jerry Jones. That's the only way. Because Jerry didn't get him a running back. Well, but Rico Dowdle is performing. Jerry didn't get him a second wide receiver. He didn't do anything in the offseason. He didn't help Mike McCarthy at all. But Jerry has nothing to do with you calling plays like you called on Monday night. That was horrible, man. And you have to go. He has to go. How do we fix the Cowboys? Now, realistically, guys, Jerry ain't going nowhere. So I know the first thing everybody want to say, get Jerry out of there, which I agree. But that's not going to happen. Neither his son. His son going to be there too. Steven is just as bad as Jerry in my estimation, in my eyes. So those things are not going to happen. First thing we need to do, go get you a second wide receiver out of free agency. I don't know who that is right now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be somebody out there, but I need Jerry to be aggressive in free agency. Don't do what you did last year. Get aggressive in free agency. Second thing, either draft Ashton Genty out of Boise State or Abdul Carter out of Penn State. Either one of them, offense or defense, will have an immediate impact on the Cowboys. All right, this last one, guys, you're not going to like it. I know you're not going to like it, but it needs to be done, and I'm going to tell you why. Hire Kellen Moore as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's why. I'm not this huge fan of Kellen Moore, but didn't we have the number one offense in the league, if I'm not mistaken? Now, you pair him with those two running backs, Dak, and an extra wide receiver, leave Mike Zimmer alone. Let Mike Zimmer run the defense. And you bring back Kellen Moore, I think we got something. Listen, Dak ain't going nowhere, guys. Why not bring somebody here who had success with Dak, who knows the Cowboys, who's familiar with these Jones boys, who knows the system here, why not bring him back and go ahead and see what he can do? Look what he's doing with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the league. I don't know if y'all know that, but he is the MVP so far in this league. Look what he's doing with these guys. So you give him that. You give him a CeeDee Lamb. You give him a second wide receiver. Give him a running back. Get that offensive line straight. And watch how we take off. Watch how we take off. Here's the most important things that we should not overlook. Number one, if we hire Kellen Moore, we're giving Dak a guy that he's worked with that we know he has success with. That's number one. And number two, we hurting the enemy. Look how he got Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts looking over there in Philly. They look like a Super Bowl team. Saquon Barkley is the MVP of this league so far. And he's under Kellen Moore's tutelage. So why not hurt the enemy? That's why I want to take him from there. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. Please like and subscribe to the show. That's my hook there at Family First Sports, where we talk all Dallas Cowboys. You guys have a good day.